Welcome to Tea with Miss G, where we serve up cups of compassion and empathy, along with talking about trauma, getting over trauma. I hate to use the word because it's so overused and it's a buzzword, but when hard things happen, how can we take the experience and feel empowered by it and then take action to both get over it, but also to use the experience to help others? And that's really what Tea with Miss G is all about. So with that, today I want to talk a little bit about hard things. And one of my concepts that I've been working on in my book that I'm writing, which is the Emotional Home Improvement Project, is the concept of the hard go. And people talk about the hard no, or I have a hard stop. But sometimes it's really hard to know when you're in a relationship or situation, or even in a thought pattern, when it's time to let go of something. And I know that I've had to do that in my career, with some clients as a business owner, but also in my marriage. So I ultimately had been married for 19 years, and I dated my end of high school sweetheart for 8 years prior to that. And then it's around, I guess, probably like year 13 that I realized that perhaps I was putting in more than I was ever going to get out of that relationship. And I had to really think about whether I wanted to stay in it. And nobody else in my family had ever been divorced, so I never really thought of it as an option until a series of events led me to realize that, I was more or less wasting my life there, and I wasn't going to be able to accomplish the things that I wanted to do and the things that were important to me. So that was an example of the hard go. And I think too, with facing decisions like that, you obviously need to take time, but introspection as well, because there's usually more than just you in a situation. So you need to think about what you can do to make the situation better. But then at the end of the day, sometimes you have to be willing, instead of complaining or wishing it was different, taking action and being able to make a plan in order to get to where you want to go instead, because we only have one life to live. And I know that that's a very cliched thing to say, but at the end of the day, I do believe that if you make a informed plan, you make an informed decision. I mean, it's helpful if you can have other people help you, and also giving some grace to the situation and seeing if it can get better over time. It's definitely, in the case of a marriage where there's a child involved, is important, but sometimes you just have to be willing to do the hard go and to walk away. And so I'm going to talk about that in my book, The Emotional Home Improvement Project, and my own book, Perfect Storms and Crooked Rainbows, in the future. But if you're facing a situation where you feel it's a losing battle and it's been going on for a long time, obviously you can reach out to a mental health professional, talk to it with your community, or with, if you're in a church, with your pastor, or with friends. But I don't recommend, obviously a marriage is a little bit different, where you probably want to go and seek some marriage counseling if the other person is willing to do that. And if not, at the end of the day, you have to know that you can make a hard go. We can do hard things, and I know that's a cliche as well, but you also have to be prepared of what the fallout is going to be, and have a plan to be resilient through that. So that's just a little bit about the concept of the hard go. And making sure that you do a 360 on your decisions and a 360 so that you have a plan and a plan for any contingencies as well. So I hope that that was helpful. If you're facing a hard go, I'm sorry to hear that, but you can drop a comment or private message me, and I'll see if I can give you some resources that can help you out. So until later, and until our next cup of tea, I'm wishing you peace and comfort and a day that is higher rather than harder.